make yourself relevant.
Yeah,
right?
no, I actually, when you talk about leaving the corporate world and kind of that feeling of isolation and things like that, what are you doing now, besides, well, you can't golf because of your shoulder, but what kinds of things are you doing now to give you that sense of, I don't want to say purpose as much as I would say like you're actually busy doing something. What are you actually working on? When you said you were semi-retired, I was just curious.
Yeah, so I enjoy doing projects. So just like creative things around. I like to garden. I know that you guys had a podcast here recently about, in Ohio. So one of you are in Ohio, and you were talking about zones and the type of plants that you can grow in that area. Tucson, I think, was also something that came up here recently.
Yeah.
So Burke and I were chatting about AI, right? So, right, like I'm getting out of the workforce, but you talk about your grandkids or your kids, like understanding how things are changing and just making sure that they're prepared for the future. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can. So not only I can use it for my benefit, but I want to be able to, help my kids understand how that can work for them as well. But I'm having a lot of fun just, sometimes I'll just talk to ChatGPT and have a conversation. I love that feature. I use Gronk as well, but it has different features, that ChatGPT doesn't have. I tend to use ChatGPT most of all, just because I want to understand everything about that platform before maybe I move on to another platform to see how that works. And I just do all kind. I don't care what it is. I just throw it in there because I want to see what it'll do, how it can provide me information. If I want to know where my kid is, I just type in his squadron, and it pulls so much information from everywhere that I get that information. The other part of that, though, is that I'm trying to help educate like my parents or some people that not everything that you see online or through, news outlets is accurate, right? So I'm trying to say every picture that you see, every video that you watch, it may not be real. It may have been created through AI. So we're in a really confusing time right now, where older people who just aren't wanting to, experience things, or to educate themselves, they take everything they see or hear as the truth. And there's so much change every day, every week, every month with AI, that if you're not understanding it, then you could be left behind, right? So I spend that free time just, of course, trying to, tinker around, do stuff around the house. But I really enjoy just seeing what I can learn with, new platforms. And AI just seems to be the one right now that I'm focused on. So I know that's a lot, but that's
it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool, and it's also a good time in your life. I would never have thought at this point in my life that I'd be learning AI because, after spending 35, almost 40 years working, and I'm still working, but yeah, I'm a lot more, what's the word? Daring, I think. I try a lot more kind of different things. And one of the things that you said about the wine, I think the example you gave, what I basically found is that so much of, as a user of AI, it's getting the prompt or the question right. And, not making it, war and peace kind of, too much information, but being specific enough and things like that. And that's one thing that I've learned. And I think my kids watch this, so I'll go out on a limb here. I think I probably know a little bit more than they do, just because I'm focusing my time on it. So,
Bill, you proclaimed yourself in an earlier episode as extremely proficient.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I could. I can basically write code myself. I'm so good. I can't. I'm teasing. No.
I think it was to New Zealand. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my wife and I have, we love to travel. I've been to, I don't even know. I've got a map sitting above my head right now, and I've got pins in all of the places I've been to. But we love to travel. So New Zealand and Australia are like kind of on a bucket list of places to go. And my brother just got back from New Zealand, and he said the landscape there was just spectacular. He said
it really is, and I would say it's a combination of unbelievable landscapes and just natural beauty combined with like the nicest people, that I've ever met. And yeah, and and I said this on an episode before. It is so far away from all the stuff that we think about and worry about, and they're constantly hearing. That are going on, and they're just kind of like, yeah, we know what's going on, but we have our life down here, and it was really that was really therapeutic for me, just to get out of that for a couple of weeks, and just not be bombarded with news.
Yeah, well, to tie this kind of together with AI, I went to Japan with my younger son, and he's been traveling around Southeast Asia for the last few months. But, when I first started that journey, I was like, I don't know where I want to go. I don't know what I want to see. So I went on ChatGPT and I said, plan out a 10-day itinerary for me to go to Japan. And it spit out a really nice, itinerary for me. And I gave it to my son and I said, what do you think about this? And he's like, oh, that'll work, and so we made a couple changes to it, but it made it super easy. So I could see, anybody that wants to make a road trip here in the States or around their state or out of the country, that's just another way that you can utilize, those programs.
Absolutely. Yep.
So my two light questions in this on this topic are: one, do you have a nickname for your Chat GTP or chosen program? And two, are you being polite with it and using your pleases and thank yous? Or do you fall into the camp that's burning a gazillion more megawatts every word you type somewhere, wherever?
So I do not have a nickname. So maybe I should do that. And as far as being polite, I haven't really done that with ChatGPT. It's funny that you would say this though, with like my Alexa, for instance, at home. Like I'll say thank you and please to Alexa, because I'm having a conversation. I think when I'm typing things in ChatGPT, I'm less likely to have, those pleasantries. I just am pretty straightforward. But when I put the the conversation component in, then it feels more like a regular conversation where I'm actually being more polite, which